Hey there, folks. How's it going? It's Prof G here, and I just wanted to take a minute and show you around a little more since the video I made the other day was kind of ended up being crummy since everything crashed on me here. So what I wanted to talk to you about was the first week of labs and primarily the natural disaster lab, but I just want to give you an overview. Right now I'm on the Earth Science site, as you can see, but this will be the same for geology. So just as a heads up. All right. So on Wednesday I put out an announcement. Let's go actually look at that real quick. Just so you guys, I'm not entirely sure all of you are viewing the announcements. Come on. All right, so announcements, at least on my site, they show up in the upper left-hand corner, right across from all your widgets there. So they're certainly should be easily viewable. Actually sidetracked us a little bit. A handful were asking, how do we know what we have to do coming up and so on and so forth. It's not going to tell you about lectures, but any of the assignments are going to show up in calendar and the work to do. All right, and I know, I'm guessing it's not Earth Science because I don't see all those things in here. But on the geology, I do still need to delete a whole bunch of stuff. But if you look, the due dates are from over the summer. So it should be, you shouldn't get too stressed out about that because it's not even this semester. So, so there's two places to see when stuff is due. And this one is nice to calendar because it even shows you all the way ahead that the natural disaster map is due the end of the semester. So work to do seemingly is only a week or two. I don't know. I'm kind of new to this, as I mentioned before. All your teachers are. All right. Anywho, so this week in lab. All right. This is how your lab assignments will show up each week. And I want you to do a couple things. One, get started with the Natural Disasters Map Lab. In other words, decide if not you want to do it on paper or digitally. Poke around a little bit, see what's involved. Definitely, start listening and reading the news and so on and so forth for earthquakes, volcanoes, giant storms, wildfires, etc. All right. This is, again, just something that's ongoing the entire semester. Don't forget to keep track of dates, intensities, if it's like a storm or something like that, locations. Okay. And then I gave you an actual lab to do this week, and that's the Math and Science Review and the Ruler Lab. Okay. So let's go back to the lab folder now. So when I talk about seeing the announcements, this is what I'm talking about. They should email you. And something I think I forgot to mention the other day, it's really worthwhile getting the app on your phone. I do not recommend it for doing homework or taking tests or anything like that, but what it's really great for is it sends you a little notification, just like your weather app, for example, if it's going to start raining or something like that. It pings on your phone. So every time I upload some content or send out an announcement, and you might even be able to set it to only tell me announcements or something like that. I haven't messed around with the app too much. It pings me every dang time I do anything. That might get annoying. But if you could set it for just announcements, that'd be really handy. Then you'll always know when to check. So anywho, back to lab. All right. I think I'm leaving this whole unit thing behind. You're seeing my teacher view at the moment. And actually, let me put it in student view. But, and I already rearranged the lectures on the Earth Science site. Geology never had the units. But, all right, now we're viewing it as a student should. But I still never really, believe it or trust it, so to speak. So let's talk about the Natural Disaster Lab real quick. Oh, one thing over here. When these are done, I'm not sure how useful this is or isn't. There's little check boxes that you guys can do. They don't really do much on my side, but I think when you check it off, it removes it from your to-do calendar, okay? Which might be helpful for keeping things organized. So this was a little trick somebody told me about last spring. And I'm not 100% sure everything is set to it. I try to when I remember. Okay, but it's a nice way to clear stuff off, because even when you turn stuff in, this is what was annoying everybody. Even when you turn something in, it would show it as overdue because it's still in the calendar. And this is supposed to remove it. If it doesn't, please let me know. Again, I'm not on the student side of this stuff. All right, so Natural Disasters Lab. Bit of a narrative here. Okay, it talks about, again, whether or not you want to get a paper map. Make sure it's a good size one, okay? Makes it a lot easier to mark stuff on it. And also, this is a world map, not a U.S. map. I've had a handful of folks over the years misread it, or I don't know what, and they just plot the U.S. ones. We're concerned with a bigger picture here. And because there's a part 2 to this, you'll see in a moment, where you have to draw the plate boundaries on here, you're going to want the larger map. You're going to need the larger map because there's no plate boundaries in the U.S. So, all right. Some of the links I gave you, okay, are right here. This does get bigger. I really don't like this one because, oh my gosh, there's so many words in the way. I'm not even sure why I linked this one, but I'm not a huge fan of that at all. I've got the recording stuff kind of blocking my getting to the other. My mouse is off the screen at a moment here. There we go. This is a much cleaner map. It's still got a lot of stuff going on here between Africa and South America, but it is a lot cleaner, a lot easier to work with. And one other one. If it didn't have the watermark across it, yeah, this would be a really great one too. Some people do it digital, they like it. Some people just prefer plain old-fashioned. I guess it's not gonna. I'm on my daughter's computer, not using my normal one here, and I'm a little messed up on the spacing. So I see what the problem is. A lot of you aren't seeing the instructions based on some of the emails I'm getting. That's because it's blending right in with the links. I'll see if it doesn't always recognize me hitting the space bar, and I forget the HTML for spaces. It doesn't even recognize that all the time. But the instructions are right here. This is just a little narrative. Right here's the actual dang instructions. All right, and like I said, I think a handful of you aren't seeing that. So it suggests, first of all, it tells you what you're looking for: earthquake, volcano, wildfire, hurricanes, or snowstorms, depending on the semester. And anything else that you deem significant. If there's a huge mudslide somewhere, and I just because I don't list mudslides, feel free to put it. I'm never going to mark you wrong for stuff, okay? So whatever you want, and I just, suggest E1, V1, S1, earthquake, volcano, storm. Again, you could use whatever you want, just be consistent. Same thing with the colors, okay? Same thing with the colors. It just seemed logical to me to make wildfires red, and then I'm like, oh no, what color am I make volcanoes? I'm like, well, lava can be orangish red. Okay, we'll go with, whatever what. But again, the color coding is just something I arbitrarily chose, okay? I'm not that much of a dictator here. And another tip here, this is current events, okay? You guys gotta keep an eye out for this stuff. It is meant to be completed in real time, as it says here. All right. If you wait till the end of the semester playing catch up, it doesn't work out real great. All right. The other thing, again, that we're getting better about people reading it or remembering it. Once you do all that, at the very end of the semester, I have you go through and draw the plate boundaries. By then, we'll have talked about plate tectonics. All right. And the idea is that earthquakes and volcanoes should cluster along the plate boundaries. Not always, but they tend to. And it's just a cool way of checking that. And, you know, also it just ties in one more activity. Since you bought this big old map, we may as well do one more thing on it that we can. So, all right, so that's part 2. Don't forget to do that. Lastly, turning it in. All right, if it's digital, well, obviously you're going to send me the file, right? But for those of you who do it on paper, you're going to take pictures. Give me one overview picture. I think I say this in the I say it here too. I'll reiterate a lot of this stuff when it comes time to turn it in. But one image of the entire map, and then a handful of close-ups. You know, where you have some stuff at and you want me to actually see. Don't forget to make the map key. Okay, that's your sheet of paper, and that has, you know, the date, so on and so forth, of all the events. And down here is your turn-in link. All right, you could submit as many attachments as you need to, and hits enter, upload, whatever. All right, so there's that. And then again, there's a little checkbox there if you like that. All right, let's go over to geology to look at the other two, just so they don't get sad that we're looking at the earth science thing all the time. See, the sites are set up fairly consistently, and at least for this first couple weeks, the announcements are essentially the same. This one, I think I did all this on both of them. I forget. I want to say that I fixed it before I uploaded it to Earth Science. Like, I uploaded it to geology, the video the other day that was all messed up. I don't think you guys got the Gee Whiz announcement in Earth Science. You might have. All right, so anyhow, here's the natural disaster stuff, and oh ho ho, you are missing. Nope, there it is. Okay, I was gonna say you are missing the instruction sheet, but it's there. All right, anywho, I had one student email me saying that they could not find it. So I think it's because it's blended in. All right. First, Math and Science Review Lab. Now, you guys in geology, you've got a lab book, or one is on the way for you. But I did include the first 2 labs on the site, just because, you know, that transition period here where we're trying to get everything rolling. Some of you are waiting for shipping, or they shipped you your stuff, but you didn't get the lab book. A lot of fun with the bookstore all the time. Earth Science folks, you don't have a lab book. So all your assignments will be in here. Waiting for the PDF to load. Huh. Still waiting for the PDF to load. Huh. I'm not sure if this is an issue on Brightspace or the internet in the Giappo household. Let's go back and try Ruler Lab. This one's going a little farther. Well, that's annoying. try it on the Earth Science site real quick. I would be very willing to blame this on Brightspace, but don't you just love it when you're given a presentation and what you're supposed to click on doesn't work? Are any of my attachments working? Let's see here. There's the lecture cast. Let's see if one of the PowerPoints opens. Oh, sure, those open. Those are opening. And I meant to always submit them in black and white. I apologize if there's a color one here and there for you guys. All right, let's go back and see if... Again, I'm having trouble getting above the recording bar. Yeah, these just aren't opening. There we go. I'm not sure what was going on there. All right, well, try and try again, right? So what do you do with these? So these are PDFs, as you saw a moment ago. Some of you are able to perhaps save the PDF, okay, download it, right mouse click kind of thing, and type in it, okay? If you have that level of skills, then by all means go ahead. The rest of you, and what most of my students do, is just print these out and write on them, just like they would have been in a lab book, okay? Again, those of you in geology, you have a lab book, you don't have to do this. But for those of you without, that's what you do. And then there is an extra step involved, of course, because you need to then take a picture with your cell phone and camera and re-upload them to the site. Okay, so it is there is an extra step in that, but again, for many of you, it's worthwhile not having to. This one never did load. It's worthwhile not having to learn how to. And here's the Ruler Lab. To mark up a PDF. Okay, you don't need a fancy version of Adobe. All right, it does it with Acrobat, which is free. If you're on a Mac, you don't even need Adobe. You could just use Preview. All right, and you make text boxes and just type them into the squares there. It's fairly simple. And then you just save your work and you attach that file itself. It's not that complicated if you're willing to take 10 minutes to learn it. Close up some of this extra stuff here. All right, so that's good. I'm glad these are working. I thought I'd have to put in some extra time now. And like I said, that's all the stuff that I've remembered that I forgot to tell you the other day. But if you guys, have some questions, please be sure to ask them, okay? And we've been doing really good with emails. I've been getting more feedback from you guys than I usually do, and that's great. So keep those coming. If you haven't yet watched this getting started video, this was the original tour that I gave. That's the girl whose computer I'm on right now. She's a good bit older than in that picture. She was quite a trooper. We went to Utah with scouts 4 years ago. Yeah, 2020. And she came along And now she's a Scout herself, so left Girl Scouts to come be a Boy Scout. And we just got back. She hiked the Grand Canyon a couple weeks ago. So here's that video. All right. One of the things that's great about this is that you can turn...
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Professor G. Nice to finally...
Shut myself off there. You can turn captioning on, okay? They're not great. And apparently I say a lot. I'm aware of that, but I don't know how to stop. It used to type in the word arm, so that was really weird. At least now it actually writes the word out. But at any rate, so do make sure you watch this. It is a bit of a decent tour. The video freezes. If you didn't know what I was talking about in the beginning of this video, it's probably because you didn't watch this. About 15 or 20 minutes in, the video freezes, and the audio keeps going, but it's just whatever picture it leaves off on. And then once I'm done talking, the video, it stays frozen for like 5 or 10 more minutes, and then it starts all of the mouse moving and the screens that I've been talking about for it's crazy. I don't know what the heck happened. But I didn't at the time have time to re-record it. So anywho, it is worth at least listening to me tell you about some stuff and that I didn't just touch on right now.
I basically deleted everything yesterday and
All right. So you know where to find lectures, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays, you guys, I put up lectures for you in both sites. They're under lecture content. And I showed you that there are lecture casts. It looks like geology. You guys don't have the handouts up yet. I apologize. I'll transfer those over the weekend. But you got the same lectures so far. This will change, I promise you. For those of you that are in geology and earth science at the same time, there's a handful. You get a couple freebie weeks here in the beginning where we do share very similar content, but otherwise earth science will certainly go off in its own direction. So, all right, you guys, I really think that's about it. Again, if you have any questions, please be sure to email me. I check email many times a day, up until about 11:30 at night sometimes, and as early as, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. And I check over the weekends, so I never stop. Bye-bye.